Good morning, good morning, good morning, and thank you for joining me on another episode of the Roundtable Talk Show. I am your host, Sharifa Hardy, and I am having such an amazing time hosting these shows. I get to meet new people, learn new things, and this has been a very exciting week where I have had incredible guests. I've taken notes, I've laughed, we've had some funny stories on the show. But I am going to go ahead and ask you to do what I always ask you to do, and that is to go out and be an evangelist for the Roundtable Talk Show. There's someone in your network, in your neighborhood, in your house, at your job, I don't know, but someone needs to hear this information, and they won't have the information unless you go ahead and share it with them. This information can help them build their business, help them learn how to be a better entrepreneur, or maybe just improve their life. So as I always say, friends don't let friends miss out on the Roundtable Talk Show. So while you're going ahead and introducing your friends to the Roundtable Talk Show, I'm going to go ahead and introduce you to our first guest. And since we have quite a few gentlemen today, I'm going to go with ladies first, Miss Ekin Ozlen. Ekin is a self-made entrepreneur, businesswoman, and singer. She's the owner of the hair and skincare brand Keracell. She started making the products in an attempt to cure her stepmother's ailments, but discovered a formula so effective that she built it from the ground up and turned it into a fully fledged brand. Good morning, Ekin. How are you?
Morning, Sharifa. How are you? Thank you for having me.
You are so welcome. It's a pleasure to have you here. I'm excited to learn about this journey, about you. So tell us, who are you and what are you passionate about?
Well, I'm passionate about music, and my music has sort of led me into this skincare and hair care brand that I now called Keracell. So I was a model for many years in New York, and I was sort of looking for perfect skin and hair, trying to find my edge among a very saturated industry. And I just learned so much that I wanted to really share it with everyone and get something out there that really helped people with their skin ailments and with their hair loss issues. So it's for men and women.
In your bio, it mentioned that this was a personal journey for you. You started off with your stepmother?
Yes, my stepmother. She's a formulator.
Okay. And what was did she have hair care issues, or there were issues that she was working through?
Yes, she had beautiful, long, dark hair, and she had to have an early hysterectomy, and she started suffering from hormonal hair loss, and which is actually extremely common for women. So we got into the lab and sort of started concocting something for her own use. And we got a hold of this very powerful extract, which is from human stem cells. And we put that into an anti-hair loss product. And we were just astounded by the growth and the thickness, and just, it really revitalized her whole scalp and brought her hair back. And from then we created an entire skincare line as well. So that was about 5 years ago now.
How long did the entire process take for you to figure out the correct formula? I mean, I know listening to you, it sounds like it happened overnight, like it was instantaneous. The hair loss, next day she had an afro. How was the process like? Did you feel like you would get the formula? Were there days where you felt like, you know what, I don't know if we can even do this?
It was pretty seamless, to be honest with you. We originally started with just peptides that were very powerful and renowned for anti-hair loss. And then it was a very short period later when we got a hold of this human stem cell extract component. And that's really what just brought the whole thing to life. But I mean, it's a constant process. We have over 40 products in the line now. So it never really ends. We're constantly looking for innovations in skincare and hair care technology, combining it with plastic surgery protocols. I'm really big with combining treatment with really fantastic formulations that are very clean and that are very powerful, effective, and results driven. So that's really what the brand really epitomizes.
So you have 40 different products. Let's talk about some of the other products that you offer.
We have fantastic skincare products. These can be found at Dillard's, at Macy's.com, Keracell.com, Keracell.com as well. We're really renowned for the anti-hair loss components to our products, but the skincare is just absolutely incredible. If you've never used a human stem cell extract based product before, it will change your life. There's nothing like it on the market. There's nothing that really changes your skin and hair this way and in such a short period of time. It's literally just giving your cells what they need, revitalizing their activity and getting them to do their job better. It's quite fascinating. Very high science.
Wow. And speaking of very high science, I'm going to go ahead and introduce our next guest, Mr. Austin Cohen. He is the founder, president, and CEO of FlexIt, Inc. He's a founding team and partner chief of staff of Wheels Up, a BA in neuroscience and behavior from Columbia University, MBA, private equity and venture capital in 2016, comes from the Columbia Business School. Austin is an entrepreneur with broad-based experience in strategy, business development, finance, and capital raising across the consumer health and wellness, sports, entertainment, and technology verticals. Austin has spent about half of his career in venture capital and the other half operational with early stage companies. Good morning, Austin. How are you?
Good morning. It's almost afternoon here in New York, but it's awesome in this remote world that we're in now for all of us to be here together in multiple time zones. Thanks so much for having me.
You are so welcome. Thank you for joining us. Now, I was listening to Ekin, and she was talking about formulas and stem cells, and I was like, okay, I got most of it. You put it on, your skin gets better, your hair grows healthier. I like it. I'm placing my order today. But you have a degree, a background in science. It probably all made sense to you, Austin.
I have a million questions. I need a full hour to
dissect all that.
For me, my passion is creating amazing experiences that make people feel really comfortable and help them to de-stress, get fit, stay healthy. So along similar lines, looking to just improve people's lives. And for me, the passion and the medium across which I'm committed to doing so is through fitness. Okay.
So I hear you. You seem like a cool, laid back guy. You're like, I just want to help people. But everything in your bio screamed venture capitalist. It screamed, we're going to get healthy, we're going to get well, but we're going to be profitable at the same time. Or maybe I misread it, Austin.
Well, I'm an entrepreneur and innovator at heart, and we look to create amazing new businesses that are committed to helping people. So core to everything that we do at FlexIt is creating non-intimidating, highly comfortable and flexible experiences that empower consumers. We do so across two primary business lines: frictionless access to gyms. So our technology can be used to access almost any gym in the country, and consumers pay for their time in those gyms. There's no tour, no paperwork. You walk in and you pay for the actual time that you spend in that gym using our mobile app. On the other side, we're providing very personalized experiences virtually for people to work out wherever they are through our virtual personal training platform. So we are pairing consumers through our tech with trainers from the best brands across the country: Physique 57, Solid Core, SLT, 24 Hour Fitness, Gold's Gym, whoever it is, everything from high-end premium studio facilities to traditional big box gyms, and creating opportunities for people to work out with or without equipment wherever they are with these trainers one-on-one who are going to help them to meet their goals. So passionate about building amazing high growth businesses, but in doing so committed to creating experiences for consumers that make them feel comfortable and improve their lives.
Okay, so let me just make sure I understand this correctly. You have two aspects. The second aspect is the personal trainers, but the first aspect is a membership that allows individuals to go to any gym in the country.
No membership. So if you go to one of the gyms on our platform and you stay for 10 minutes, you pay for 10 minutes worth of time. if you go and you spend 3 hours at one of our facilities and hang out at the pool all day on a Saturday when there's beautiful weather, you're paying for 3 hours worth of time.
Okay, so but that doesn't matter any gym. So any gym, I'm a FlexIt member. I can walk into 24-hour fitness. I can walk into Gold's Gym. I can walk into these gyms and I don't have to pay their membership because I'm already a FlexIt member. Wow, you're good. That's a hell of a deal. I mean, these gym memberships can be very expensive. I know.
So the beauty of what we're doing on that product, which we call flexible gym access, is we're introducing people to gyms around them in a way that is in line with how a consumer might be accessing everything else in his or her life. The way we access food, transportation, the way we book our travel now, it's smartphone enabled. It's with a few clicks of the finger. And that's what we're looking to bring to gyms. And that's what we've been doing since we started the company. Newer for us, and of course, directly relevant to the last year, has been our virtual personal training platform, which, by the way, can be done at a brick and mortar location, can be done outside, or can be done in the home. So just because it's virtual doesn't mean it has to be done at home. We have consumers who are using our virtual personal training technology and working out with the trainers live one-on-one, and they're doing so from a gym.
Mm-hmm. I like that. That sounds good. I have so many more questions, Austin. I'll come back to you. I want to go ahead and introduce our next guest, Mr. Nick Smit. Nick is a passionate teacher by profession. Nick has been teaching for 13 years and runs 2 small companies. The first one is Straight A Tutors. The other is an award-winning wheelchair accessories and disability awareness company, which is the first of its kind in South Africa, called Smergos. He is also an accomplished speaker who is part of the Professional Speakers Association of South Africa. Welcome from America, Nick. How are you?
I'm good, and you? And thanks for having me.
I'm excited. I love that. What was it? Let me go back to it. I love the Straight A Tutors, right? Because you really do want your tutors to be straight A people. The last thing you want is to be tutored by a D student, right?
Absolutely. You know, you sign up with us and we aim for straight A's. It's the only way.
Yes. How did you come up with that idea?
Well, I studied teaching at University Wits. And in my second year, I started tutoring because obviously I'm becoming a teacher. So let's, practice the profession. And so I started tutoring, and then I just got too busy. I got too many people asking for tutoring. And so I asked a friend of mine to join me or to start working with me, and it worked. And there's always that moment where you're like, will this work or will it not work? And luckily it worked. And so then it was just a question of replication. And so that's when I launched Straight A Tutors, because I was like, well, if it can work with 1, it can work with 2, and so on and so on. I also tutor high school kids mainly. I teach primary school kids, but I tutor high school kids. And so, we have other people coming and asking us for other subjects and other grades. And for example, I cannot tutor grade 2s. They're way too small for me. They're cute from afar and maybe for a short time, but I can't teach them. So we also have other tutors on my team that allow us to diversify and cover a range of topics to a range of grades.
It's interesting, but all I heard, because I get distracted easily, out of all the grades, the only one that you can't tutor is grade 2. Like you're okay with grade 1 and grade 3, but just not grade 2.
Well, like basically grade 4 and below. Anything
Okay.
Grade 4 and below, I'm out.
I'm like that too, but I could never be a teacher. The smaller kids are too small. They run around. Once they get to be 2, they learn how to say no. And I'm like, no, I can't deal with these kids. And then I can't deal with high school kids because they think they're adults and they want to talk back. I'm like, I can never be a teacher. So I applaud anyone who even goes into that profession. So that's wonderful. But let's talk about Smergos. What is Smergos and how did you come up with that?
So Smergos is a company that myself and a very good friend and business partner of mine came up with. We came up with the idea in 2015. And where the idea came from was the friend and now business partner of mine, she's in a wheelchair. And I was thinking of a birthday present for her, and I was racking my brain. Guys, I'm sure you recognize this. You know, you've got a really good friend. You're like, I don't know what to get her. I don't know what to get her. And then 7:30 on a Saturday morning, I shot up out of bed, and I knew what I had to get her. And it was a wheelchair bag. But one that would fit neatly onto a wheelchair, but at the same time could, you know, be personalized, maybe have a tag on it, like that's how I roll or something.
That's cute.
And so obviously what I did was I hopped online and I tried to find it. I couldn't find what I wanted locally. And then I did find one or two things from overseas, but with a price to match. You know, you guys are in America and we're in South Africa, so the exchange rate is not in our favor. So, you know, something that might be reasonable for you guys is like really costly for us, including, you know, import tax and all of that stuff. So me
And
with
shipping,
my entrepreneurial,
probably.
yeah, and me with my entrepreneurial mind, instead of going, oh, well, I can't find it, I said, oh, well, there's an opportunity here. So that's where the idea came from.
I like that, Nick. Okay, I have so many more questions, but I am going to come back to you. I want to go ahead and introduce my next guest, Mr. Raghu Ramamurthy. Raghu brings with him over 16 years of experience in business development, strategy, project management, sales and marketing, and consulting across industries, including retail, manufacturing, banking, and finance, IT, and automation. In 2014, he co-founded Vero Inc., a mobile app development platform for e-commerce stores, following which in 2017, further diversified his portfolio with the establishment of his own AI platform venture called RAP, Rapid Acceleration Partners, headquartered in Texas. Good morning, Raghu. How are you?
Wonderful, Sharifa. It's been a pleasure listening to the other guests here. It's a pleasure to be here. Morning.
It is a pleasure to have you. Don't act shy, Raghu. We all family here. We family. Tell us about yourself. Who are you? What are you passionate about?
Yeah, I think the one theme that's been running today is making people's lives better, right? I think that's really what we are passionate about, right? That's kind of what I was passionate about, right? So I spent about almost 15 years in my career working in what you typically call the large corporate, large enterprise, right? And then there was this calling that, hey, there is a bunch of these organizations, small and medium businesses that are out there that are really not being addressed, right? That are screaming for help, that need these kinds of technology advancements. And then, so in 2014, we founded Vajro. Again, it's the current form that Vajro is in is a result of a lot of failures that we saw over the first 2-3 years, but learned a lot, right? Typically, we said, okay, here is what we want to offer. Why don't we bring the technology of mobile apps, right? Not necessarily targeted at these large companies, but how do we get them in the hands of small, medium business, right? And then in 2017, the AI was a big buzzword. Everyone was talking about AI, right? And so we kind of sat back and said, hey, how can we really use AI? Again, how do we kind of democratize it, if you will, right? How do we put power of AI in the hands of small and medium businesses? Not necessarily very small business, but not kind of like the big ones can put the money into research and development in AI. How do we actually make it much more affordable and easier to use and consume by smaller enterprises, right? And that's kind of how we started that space. So our focus very heavily is in the automation space. We work across multiple industries, again, credit unions, community banks, small banks, mortgage lenders, automotive dealers, right? So there's just a wide variety of industries that we work with, but ability to be able to put power of AI-based automation in the hands of small enterprises.
So I understand the term AI. How do you utilize AI for the small and medium-sized business owners?
Again, there's different forms of AI itself, right, that you could use, but the space that we focus in is largely what we call as automation around unstructured data, right? So for example, you're a small business, right? And you get a lot of customer service queries, right? Instead of sitting in front of the system and trying to answer those emails, answer those chats, again, you can use AI to automatically answer and take care of those customer service requests, right? Or you're a small mortgage lender. Right now, instead of sitting and going through a bunch of paperwork to process those documents that you get and run all of those errands before you decide on a mortgage paper, you can automate that whole process end to end using the AI, right? So essentially anything. So in this day and age, I think as there is so much lifestyle that's being available, right? So you have automated washing machines, you have automated autonomous cars, right? You pretty much have everything else automated, but then it's brutal to have people sit in front of computers and start doing data entry, typing out stuff and all that. Rather have them use like we are audaciously obsessed with making people's lives more fulfilling in front of a computer, right? So rather do more value add work, get the more mundane tasks completely automated using the AI.
I like that. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to create something that can automate me scheduling new guests, because with 5 shows a week and 5 guests per show, that's just that week. So I answer a lot of emails. So I need somebody, an AI, to read the emails, right? First, they have to read them and determine if the person would be a good fit for the show. Then we're going to do the if-then statement. If they are a good fit, then the AI is going to go ahead and schedule them for the show. Can we do that?
Yep, absolutely. Why not? Yep.
Okay, you say that now, Raghu, in 15 minutes after the show when I'm contacting you. I don't want to hear anything different.
You got to ask for a timeline on delivery before you let them off the hook.
I don't even know what this timeline on this delivery is going to be, because I don't even know if Raghu can create what I want, but we'll see. But I was going, oh, hi, come back, Austin, because I was going over to you next. So your focus is on venture capitalists. When you listen to our guests today, is there anything that from a venture capitalist perspective that stands out? Do you usually look for companies that are more technology, more innovation, more AI, more beauty, more wellness, or just the fact that it's a new up and coming company? What do you look for?
I think it's a little less black and white. I mean, for me right now, I'm wearing the founder, the operator's hat, as are others here, but just from my experience in venture, I look at specific verticals. There are some folks in venture who don't look at any specific verticals. There are some who have very specific mandates that they look for. So I think that the best answer to that question is it's a little bit different for every group or individual. For me, and it's also stage contingent, for me, a lot of it is about who are the people, especially early on. A lot of the product is, and I would presume much of this is true for Keracell, for example, is it's you, right? You are that brand, and the brand got off the ground because you were the face of the brand and continue to serve as that face and spokesperson for the brand, and the energy that comes with the brand and the ability to grow and scale and get into whatever distribution channels you have, in many ways comes from you early on. So a lot of it's about people. Of course, the market really matters. So what does the competitive landscape look like? What is the competitive advantage that the company has in its niche or white space, in that position in the marketplace, even if it's crowded, that it's playing in and trying to own? So again, less black and white, really a lot of different things that go into venture investors and looking at whether opportunities make sense to fund or not to fund. But everyone has their investment thesis and the mandate, what they're looking for. And for me, I really think that people, in addition to the market opportunity, is paramount in the earliest of stages.
So Keracell, Ekin, what are your thoughts on what Austin had to say?
I love what he's saying, because it's very much, the point that we're at right now. And I'm really recognizing, wow, I am the brand. And it's like, I've always known that, but I mean, what he said was just 100% absolutely true. like even in some of the meetings that I've had with investors so far, they've always put it back onto me. You know, it's like, how many social media followers do I have? Am I verified? It's like all the things. And it really comes back to not so much Keracell, but me personally. So it's a big hat to wear, but I love it. I mean, it's exciting to me and I'm passionate about what I do. So I think that's the most important component as the founder of the brand. You know, I'm learning as I go, but I've just learned so much about business right now. And I fell into this almost accidentally. You know, I have a background in psychology. Like I didn't go to business school. So it's been a really fun ride, and I'm really proud of the brand, and the sky's the limit right now.
I like that though. I like the background in psychology, because you need that psychology for sales and everything else, to understand what people are looking for, what they're interested in, why they want better skincare. Are they suffering from some type of acne, or you know, maybe they lost all their hair and it's affecting their self-esteem. So there's so many components of psychology in business.
Mm-hmm. You're absolutely right. Yeah, hair loss it can be so emotional and so traumatic, and you know, people get just absolutely devastated about it. So I definitely have clients that call me regularly, and they are looking for comfort, and they're fearful. They're fearful that it's going to continue. And I'm always telling them, like, don't worry, we've got you. You know, this is only going to get better from here. So I actually enjoy that process. And I love that I can utilize some of my background. You know, I think that's what life is all about for everyone here. It's kind of like using pieces. There's a lot of overlap, and just using pieces and experience and wisdom that you've gained throughout your life and putting it, kind of funneling it into your baby, whatever your passion and your business is at that time. That's what I try to do.
I definitely agree. When I was actually laid off 8 times, and I went through this period of time where I was like, oh my God, I'm never going to find a job or a career, and people are going to think I'm a job hunter. And then I went to this interview one day, and a gentleman looked at my resume, and he looked over everything. He's like, wow, you have the resume of an engineer. And he was like, you have so many diverse skills. And that moment in time, I will never forget it. I share it often, but it changed my mindset on how I saw myself, because I can do so many different things based on the experience from all these different companies that I work for. So I can completely relate. No, when Ekin was talking, Nick, you were nodding. It's talking about feeling like you're a founder. What are your thoughts on what Ekin had to say?
It speaks to me completely. I mean, if you go back to Smergos, the company, where that word comes from, or the name, it's actually Nicole Vergos, that's my one business partner and friend, and then Nick Smit. Now take Vergos and Smit, smack them together, and you get Smergos. So you can't get more like you are the brand than that. And you know, you mentioned in my intro that I'm a public speaker, and that's part of what I do. So I am a person with a disability, and I am an advocate for people, you know, with disabilities taking over the world, and you know, taking charge and taking risks. And you know, when you have business experience, or when you take that leap and you say, I'm going to do this, you're learning all the time, and you're growing all the time, and you're pushing yourself, and people recognize that. And like I went and presented at an entrepreneurial like workshop, and then they started coming up with this catchphrase, what would Nick do? So you know, that was pretty cool for me. So you know, I get that, like,
you can't go on. I got to stop you.
Okay.
Why did they come up with what would Nick do? There's a story behind that. Nick was answering all the questions correctly. Nick built the best business. There's a story behind that. I can smell a story.
So I was just telling them, you know, about how my mantra is the greatest risk is not taking one. Mm-hmm. And you've got to like take the risks and learn from them. And tied to that is the whole concept of growth mindset. You know, you fail, and that's okay. If you really want to achieve, you're going to practice, you're going to put effort into it, and you will achieve that which you know, aim to achieve. And so I was talking to a whole bunch of new entrepreneurs that were just starting their journey, and you know, coming up with names and coming and challenging their concepts and challenging their products and stuff. And so that's where it kind of tied in. It's like, what would Nick do? Nick would question the product, or Nick would stick to that, or Nick would, you know, look at things from a different perspective. And so that's where what would Nick do came from.
I like that. See, I knew it was a story. So now as I'm going through my life and my day and building my business and answering all those emails that Ragu's AI is going to answer for me in the future, I got to go, what would Nick do?
Yeah.
What would Nick do? Right? I can feel that. I remember being in high school. My nickname in high school, I don't tell everybody this, was the computer. Right? And I'll tell you the story behind the computer. We had this one science class and the teacher would ask everyone a question. She'd go, does anyone have the answer? Does anyone know? And then she go, Sharifa? And she looked directly at me and then I give them the answer and everybody would go, of course, the computer would know. And it kind of stuck with me, but I keep it quiet so it doesn't move into my life right now. Ragu, how did you come up with the name for your company?
Yeah, I think so. There's so Rapid Acceleration Partners was basically just that whole thing around how long it took AI, right? So being the business person that I am, right? I'm not the techie, I'm not the coder that sits and writes the code, right? That was not the intent at all, right? The technology is there. It was about how to put it to use. So we went around starting. So I have a business partner who's a CPA. So very different kind of combination to start a business. Right, but we the first thing that we did was we said, okay, let's go find the customers first, find the problems first, and then find a solution to that problem, right? So we went around, asked people, asked them why they wouldn't use AI if there was the AI available to solve their problem and all that. And everyone was talking about, hey, the time it takes, I don't know where it's going, what it's going to do, whether it will give me the kind of results and stuff like that. And that's kind of how we came up with Rapid Acceleration Partners, right? That is, we build out a platform that is going to help you be able to develop that solution really quick in a much faster time, in a much more predictable form, right? That's the whole idea around Rapid Acceleration Partners. So I just want to, I just want to jump topics a little bit here, right? To the point that Austin mentioned. And the discussion that we've had around the founder being the entrepreneur being the brand itself, right? I think that there's not a single day that goes by, right? I think it's got a little better now that we've been in business for this while, but there's not a single day that you sleep and you think, hey, what is going to happen if what happens if I fall sick for a week, right? What happens if I go on a vacation, right? Will things just shut down? Will things continue to run the way I am, right? And I think it's partly, I think Ekin will agree with that. There's also partly a psychology of being in control forms, right? Sometimes you think, hey, maybe others won't take care of it as much as I do because it's like your baby, right? When it's your baby, then you don't want to give it to someone that you don't trust, right? But you'd be very happy giving it to your mother, giving it to your husband or wife, right? Because there is that trust factor there that they'll take care of it just the way you do. And I think that's been the biggest learning for us. At some point, if we get the right people in and we build that trust, I think that's the point that we'll be ready to give it all away and say, hey, we know somebody else is going to take care of it as much as you'd want it to.
Absolutely. Ekin, what are your thoughts?
That it's just so nice to be around like-minded people. You know, as a business owner and as an entrepreneur, I think a lot of times I feel almost like I'm on an island and I'm doing this all by myself. And just every single thing that he just said, I completely related to. I mean, I actually moved my parents. My mom was a NASA aerospace engineer and my stepdad was a financial advisor, and I moved them across the country. They were in retirement. I moved them across the country to run my entire warehouse in Orange County for me so that I could deal with everything else that I deal with. So as far as trust and bringing family in, I mean, it is absolutely paramount to me because I'm always worried about the business and the brand and something going awry. So having people in-house that I can really depend on, it's been such a blessing, a godsend for me. So it's interesting that you brought that up.
Yes, absolutely. And that's one of the things that most entrepreneurs say, billions and trillions of entrepreneurs, we all feel alone because we're trying to create our own business, our own company, usually by ourselves. Maybe we have a partner, co-founder with us, but it's our mission, our goal. Now, Austin, I want to go over to you because we talked about being the brand. How does someone change from being the brand to the focus being more on the company? Or pivot, I think it's the word today, these days, pivot.
I don't think it's much as of a pivot as, and it'll be different for every company is going to be a little bit different in the role that the founder plays depending on what the type of product. It's going to carry different weight in the way that that brand comes to life, but especially early on, every additional person that comes onto the team has such an impact on that team. Maybe less so than when you go from no employees to 5 to 10 to 50 to 100, as you go through that process, the impact of each addition is not as large as it is in the early additions. And in those early additions, the way that culture grows, it emanates from the center out from the founder. And so as the founder's bringing other members onto the team, the founder's enabling and empowering those team members to help create that brand and form a company, right? So bring the company to a place where the founder isn't everything, so that the company is able to actually live on its own feet, with the essence of that brand always being what the founder had put to it from the beginning. So I think just kind of like to tie that all together, this is, especially in the earliest of days, very much a lifestyle, right? It's not a job. The role of the founder is to create longevity to the product and to empower and enable, to my point earlier about people who are like-minded, right? In the way that we're all like-minded here has been referenced a couple times, who can help to bring that brand to life, and take the brand away from when it was just one person, and make it something that's able to live on its own, so that, to one of the comments a moment ago, you can go on vacation at some point and not have to worry, right? That's kind of, that it's a company and it's not just a brand, it's not just one person, when you can put your phone down for a little bit and things won't fall apart.
That's the key, Ekin. So we found the key.
I'm not there yet. Honestly, I can't remember the last time I took a legitimate vacation, and my phone, yeah. There's days that I wish, I'm like, God, I love those days when like people just had pagers, like 50 years ago.
Yes.
Like,
Yes, then you can decide when you want to call them and call them back, as opposed to the phone ringing with text. Oh, so my favorite little feature, Raghu, you might like this, but on my phone, they introduced the focus. Does anybody use focus on their phone? Because it's a new feature on my phone. It just came, I don't know where it was, but there's the silence your phone option, and then there's the focus option on my phone. So I can focus on life by silencing all of my notifications, but the phone will still ring and I will still receive text. And I usually put my focus on about 6 p.m. when I'm off work, and because I don't want to deal with any of those things. But yeah, I do want to talk to people and have calls. Isn't that cool, Raghu? Did you know about that?
Yeah, I've read about that, but I'm not there yet. I don't put my phone on focus.
I know I'm not the only one focusing.
and it's on the iPhone?
That's on, I have an Android.
Android, okay. Mm-hmm.
So maybe that's the problem, because Android gets some new features, and then I'm already mad at the iPhone because I have been dying to join Clubhouse, and they won't let me come to the party yet. Who's on Clubhouse? I know Ekin's on Clubhouse.
I don't know what that is. Tell me, what is it?
Nobody knows, Austin? Nobody knows about Clubhouse?
I'm not on it.
It's a podcast.
I know about it. I'm not on it yet.
It's supposed to be one of the newest, latest things for entrepreneurs. It allows you to basically have a podcast, but it's kind of like this, where people who are listening can interject and join the podcast and make comments and do this whole thing, but it's only on iPhone. And I keep getting people sending me invitations like, oh my God, this is the coolest things ever. You have to join Clubhouse. And then when I go to Google Play to download Clubhouse, it says, it's only available on iPhones. So I'm like, okay, thank you. Nick, you're laughing. Why are you laughing, Nick?
I have the same problem. I'm on Android as well. And with my speaking and everything, I do these like Zoom sessions once every 2 weeks. And then I also run a podcast and stuff like that. And everyone's like contacting me, Nick, go into Clubhouse. And I'm like, yeah, no, I can't.
I can't. My friend was like, just go buy a little cheap iPhone, spend $200 just so you can have, I'm like, so I can have a whole new phone and a whole new deal just so I could be on Clubhouse. I don't know. I'm weighing it. I need somebody to really tell me a benefit I cannot live without. When they do that, then I'll go ahead and pay for the new phone and the new line. Until then, I'm just going to be an Android girl, I guess. Android. So, Austin, Wheels Up. Talk to us. What is Wheels Up?
Wheels Up is not so new anymore, but a new way to fly private.
Yes, sign me up.
It is a more accessible way of flying privately with specialization in flights that are shorter, if you will, 2, 3, 4-hour flights, but really can service flights anywhere. And similar to how we think here at FlexIt, in the early days when we were starting Wheels Up, the concept was to lower that barrier of entry to create a more flexible way, a more comfortable way for people to be able to access private aviation. It's been recent, about 3 weeks ago, we announced that we'll be going public.
Wow. Do you have a date set to go public?
Coming soon. Coming soon.
I have so many questions. I don't want to get into insider trading, so I'm being very, very careful. But I need to know when that happens because I am going to be right there. Why? Because I can see the way you think, Austin. Your whole idea and your business model, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, just a girl from Columbus, is making companies like Uber and Lyft and the Postmates of the world, the Airbnbs of the world, where you take something that people ordinarily do and then you kind of make it more accessible for everyone. And for me, I'm a Postmates person. I see the same Postmates delivers at least 2 or 3 times a week because I order every meal through Postmates. I'm like, hey, it's Sally. Hey, it's Bill. They know me by now. Everything I do, my laundry is delivered. Everything I do has to be easy. And I think for me, the next step, private jet. So I'm going to be on Wheels Up.
Let's do it.
Yes, that's why I need to know when we come in soon. When you actually get there, when you announce that press release, it's public, let me know. That's all I'm saying. So Ekin, we're going to take your company public next because we're going to get you some funding. You laughing, Ekin? I'm serious.
Yeah, I'm envious. I like the way that sounds, Austin.
You may be able to work with Austin. Maybe he has a good team, a good referral, may be able to take your company public. But there are a lot, I'm telling you, and I'm not being facetious at all. The one industry that I see that is growing more than anything else is women coming up with products that will help other women. And I haven't had anyone on here who even focuses on the hair loss. I had a woman who made bed sheets that when you get on the bed sheet, it's for literally women with either perimenopause or menopause, that you get on the bed and the bed sheets literally cool you so you don't, you're not as hot during the night. And then I had that was hot. And then I had another lady, she did something else. So the hair loss is something that people suffer from, but we don't talk about.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, men and women alike, it's so incredible. And our products can be combined with PRP for the scalp, any kind of anti-hair loss treatment. They're super user friendly. So I'm really excited about our product offerings. And we have a new Keracell MD segment of our line that's even more gentle and even more effective. And it's really great. You can find these in plastic surgeons' offices, dermatologists' offices, anti-hair loss clinics, salons across the nation.
Yes. And so what we'll do when we get ready to take the company, when we get ready to take the company public, I'll go down, drive about 20 minutes from Long Beach to Orange County, and we'll do an interview at the warehouse. We'll show some of the products. We'll talk to mom and stepdad and see how cool this really is. See?
Yeah. I'm super excited. In about 2 weeks, we're going to be airing locally first an infomercial for Keracell. So that was quite crazy to shoot during the pandemic. And I'm just so excited because it just took months and months and months. Everything is much slower production wise because of the pandemic. So we finally completed that. I hired a whole intelligent voice recognition company and I wrote the whole script, for all the products. And it was really it was really a massive undertaking for me, but I had the time to do it now. And I just kind of threw myself into this. So I'm very excited. So look out for us, you know, nationwide on TVs, like over the next couple of months. Right now, I'm going to start sprinkling it in. So it's fun.
Sprinkle it this way. I would love to see it. Ragu, no, I want to go back to Ekin real quick because I want to know about what are you using the IVR for?
So we're using that, you know, when people call in the 1-800 number.
Okay. Okay.
That they basically need to know about the different product offerings, kind of like what type of skin or hair type each bundle is really made for. So the IVR really helps to simplify everything. And it kind of goes back to, you know, my trust issues. Right now I'm like, live agents, stem cell extract based products. I think it's going to be better for me to start, you know, where I have full control over what is stated. So the IVR just really, it really resonated with me. I thought that this was a good place to start until I can really have the personnel to train live agents and to have them trained correctly, because it's very specific, it's very niche, and it's very high science, clinically validated. You know, you can't just have anybody trying to explain what these products are. So in that regard, you know, going back to what you said, it's, yeah, there's a control aspect to everything about the brand, and it does funnel all through me first. So it's exciting.
Yeah, so I'm one of those people that I either really love or really hate IVRs, depending on how the company uses it. When I really just, if I just want to pay my bill, and you know that I don't want to go through all these different prompts and you know all of that, but some have done it very well. They use that, just what are you looking for? If this is this, if maybe you have oily skin. Do you have oily skin? Do you have, okay, we'll go through this prompt. I like that. You know, it helps me out. But then sometimes I'm like, if you don't give me a live person on this phone, I'm about to get in my car and drive up there. So that's a good thing. Ragu, when you listen to Ekin talk about her IVR, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, my first thought would be to automate that, right? That's the person that I am. But yeah, I think it's. I think getting something like that is a key part of customer experience.
Hold on, Ragu, but that's what I do. When you said the first thing I would do is automate that, what part of the would you automate?
Yeah, just the whole response, right? So she said she wrote out a script, right? That's the response piece. But essentially looking at, okay, so to your point, right? I can have an IVR that's programmed to work in a certain rule-based fashion, right? Okay, press 1 if you want to know more, press 2 if you want to know about order status, press 3 if you want to know about sales and stuff like that, right? Or get them to being more conversational and say, hey, okay, I'm going to ask a question, right? But the IVR is intelligent enough to give me an answer, but then I ask another question and then I can kind of continue to take on from there, right? So then it's not a set route. The system figures out the route for itself, right? And then making the experience much more better, like you don't want to have to get in the car and drive from Long Beach.
You caught that. You caught that, huh? That was a veiled threat. It was in there, but you caught that. You good, Ragu. I like you.
Yeah, so sometimes you go thinking, hey, for me to have to wait 20 minutes before I get to the live person, I might as well just drive.
Right. Absolutely. Nick, how you enjoying the conversation?
I'm loving it. You know, it's quite cool having so many different people from so many different places and talking about different things as well. But one thing I do want to touch on right at the beginning, Ekin, you mentioned you love music, right?
Yes.
Well, I am a huge fan of music myself. I would love to be a singer, but I'm not. I am, however, a person who loves salsa dancing. And I've been dancing salsa for like 18 years, I think it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, music and we're good.
We have to be the judge, Nick. We have to see if you have the moves. You have the moves. We got to see.
I got the moves.
He needs the music. He needs the music.
Yeah. We'll go with that. But yeah, I love dancing. I love music in general. It's just like it raises me to like a whole new level. You know, like I can be in any mood, and you like turn the right music on or walk into the right club or whatever, and that track hits you and you're like, oh yeah. That's for me.
Yeah,
It's cool.
it's universal. That's why I love it. I use my music, you know, I was a singer first, so I use my music to market the products, you know, like Dillard's puts it on the beauty display cases where my line is presented inside the department stores. So it'll be like my music video will be sitting there near the products, and then spliced within my music video, you'll see like the products, which has been really fun to just kind of funnel everything in together into one sort of vessel, which is the brand.
Okay,
what I also love about it is, for me, like, again, having a disability, you know, I have an arm that doesn't work properly, and I walk with a 50-cent limp. You know, you walk into a club or you walk into a group of friends, and they make judgments and whatever, and it's not a bad thing. I mean, you know, people judge people. It's what happens naturally. But then like music comes on or something, and then, you know, all of a sudden I start dancing, and they're like, wow, this guy can dance. You know, it's not something that you need to have an extra prop or anything. You know, wherever you are, whenever you are, you know, you can just like break it down.
Just break it on down. I like it. Hey, Ekin, what's the Keracell song?
Amazing. Actually, you would probably love my music because it's super up tempo and it has that whole Latin vibe. So you have to check it out. You would definitely be able to dance to my music.
I think we need a round 2 of this roundtable.
Yeah.
Dancing.
I think that's a good idea. I like that also. I'm just trying to see if I can get Ekin to give us a song. She hasn't failed for it yet, but I'm gonna keep going. I'm persistent. That's why I'm successful. I don't take no for an answer. Ekin, what's the Keracell song? I need a little ditty, a little something.
There's one called La Noche. There's one called Where You At with a Mexican superstar. He's like a sensation in Mexico, Vladir Derbez. So Nick, you've got to check it out because you can totally salsa. I'm telling you.
Totally. I'm going to have to like shoot a video or a recording or something and upload it for you guys.
Yeah, please. I love it. I love that you love to dance. It's my medicine. So I totally understand what you're saying.
Ekin's smooth. Y'all saw that, right? She transitioned right out of that into helping Nick with salsa. Didn't give me my song, but it's okay. We're going to bring everyone back, like Austin said, and, you know, have a musical talent show roundtable. Never done it before, but I'm always open to try new things. Now, this has been a lot of fun. We are coming down to the last few minutes of the show. And what I love to do at the end of every show is just simply allow my guests the opportunity to speak directly to the audience, to everyone who is watching this show live, as well as everyone who is watching it in the archives, and let them know what you want them to take away from your appearance here today. And we're going to start with you, Nick.
Thank you very much, Sharifa. Everyone out there watching, it's been an awesome time. Watch my space, check out Smergos.com. And I'll also be in the next 2 or 3 months launching my own speaking career with Rebel Ninja. So the Rebel Ninja. I'll be launching on all the social media channels, and we're launching my website as well. And that's for my speaking company. Or my speaking portfolio. So, you know, watch this space for some cool content.
Absolutely. Thank you, Nick. Raghu, what do you have for us?
Yeah, it's been a pleasure being on the show. And then I think just seeing so many like-minded people around us here, right? I think there was a lot to share. There was a lot of small things here and there that I think I'm going to take away, right? The one thing that I'd like to say is that we have some very exciting things that have come up, right? We've spent the last 3 years building some cool products. We see exciting growth phase ahead of us, right? We're growing very fast. We're continuing to hire, right? We're continuing to drive this. So I'll also use this as an opportunity to let people know. Go ahead, look us up at www.rapidautomation.ai. Right, find me on LinkedIn, find me on Facebook, go ahead and add us here. There's also a rallying call to everyone that would like to come and join us on this journey, right? And then maybe Austin, we can ring you up sometime when we need to raise funds. We are funded right now, so yeah, we're not bootstrapped anymore. We are funded, right? We were funded through the pandemic times. We're very grateful for our investors for doing that, right? But again, we are very excited about the growth that lies ahead of us. and we will be very excited. Maybe sometime we can come back on the show and say, hey, we are going public, right? That's
Yes, come back on the show, announce it. I always invite people to come back on the show. That's how I keep this show booked, 5 shows a week, 5 guests per day. It takes a lot of returning guests and amazing PR teams to make this happen. So please definitely come back. Austin, what do you have for us?
First of all, thank you for having me today. Thanks to all the panelists here. It's been great hearing about your experiences and insights, and thanks to everyone who tuned in today. I just would want to share, I don't think we've touched on this so much today, that, but hopefully it's come across that everyone here has a lot of passion, and anyone out there who's an aspiring entrepreneur, I encourage all of you to pursue your dreams and visions and bring them to a reality, and that try not to let anything get in the way of that. I like to use the phrase that no doesn't mean no, it means not now. And a lot of entrepreneurship is pushing through because you believe in something so strongly. And so I just would want to leave you all with that. But in regards to FlexIt, please check us out, flexit.fit, FLEXIT.FIT. And today, for the roundtable, if you go to our consult on our website and you say roundtable, we'll be giving away a workout on us for anyone who does so.
Okay, well, I'm gonna go say roundtable because I need to work out, but I'm gonna need more than just one time. So I need somebody to, I have COVID belly. Y'all can't see it right now, but I really do. I really do. So I'm gonna need that membership. I appreciate you, Austin, for offering it. I hope our viewers go ahead and take advantage of that. I'll go ahead and post it on in the comments section as well, so people know. Thank you, Ekin. What do you have for us?
Well, thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure just talking to everyone and feeling that I'm not alone in this crazy thing that I've endeavored and took on, which is being an entrepreneur. I really, really appreciate everybody's wisdom and just sharing. And for all the entrepreneurs out there, just never give up. That's what I'm living by, those words right now. Just keep every day waking up and grinding and grinding and grinding, and you'll be surprised at how quickly you actually progress, just staying focused and determined. For anyone who's interested in getting, any kind of help with any skin issue, any hair issue, it doesn't have to be hair loss, just if they're unhappy with anything about their appearance, whether it's their skin or hair, I can help you. I have so much at my fingertips. So please don't hesitate in reaching out to me. I'm very visible on the internet. You can obviously go to my brand's page, Keracell.com. And that's with a K, Keracell.com. Or you can find me on Instagram at Ekin_Ozlen, and everything will come in through there.
Thank you.
If anyone wants to go to Keracell.com, if you put in #WhereYouAt, you'll get 20% off.
Hashtag where you at. I'm gonna use that where you at. Have to make a note, put that in the comments section.
Yep.
I want to thank, this has been an amazing show. It has been incredible. I want to thank you all for being guests on today's episode of the Roundtable Talk Show. And I especially want to thank everyone who tuned in to watch this show live, as well as everyone who is watching it in the archives. Just because you didn't catch the show live does not mean we don't appreciate you, and we still need your support. So please go ahead and share the show. But I always ask, please don't just watch the show. Please don't just share the show. We appreciate that. But please support our guests. Our guests are here this morning to be able to provide you with their stories, their advice, their strategies, their resources. We have discounts, we have free offers, we have so much amazing information. Please support our guests. Their website link is in the Facebook post. But as always, please don't just visit their websites. Follow them on social media, reach out to them, send them a message. And when you do, please let them know Sharifa Hardy says hi. Now, if you're interested in more ways that I can help your business, or maybe you want to be a guest on the Roundtable Talk Show, please visit my website at asksharifa.com. Until tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Pacific, everyone have a safe and a blessed day. Bye now.